Going.
My name is Marc McGinnes. I was a boy at the confluence of the Columbia, the Snake, and the Yakima rivers. I was native to that place. I inhabited it with all of my boyish energy and wonder and confusion and disappointment. I lived there. When I was 27, I walked into a classroom on the campus of the University of California at Berkeley and projected on the wall was something that human eyes had never seen before in our brief history, and it is a brief history on this planet. What I saw was the whole Earth. The Apollo 8 astronauts circling the moon on Christmas Eve of 1968 had looked down. They were photographing automatically places to land later that year as the plan. And out the porthole window, there above the horizon of the gray, lifeless moon, Earth. This was sometime in mid-January, 1969. And in looking at it, it knocked me for a loop. It was love, a love so strong that it has guided my life ever since. And I knew myself to be a native of that place. The whole Earth. A few days later, one of my mentors, who happened to be in Congress at the time, he was one of the first environmental lawyers in the world. His name was Paul or Pete McCloskey, called me. I'd been calling him saying, oh, I don't like the law work I'm doing, Pete. I don't know if I even want to be a lawyer. It wasn't my plan. I'm unhappy. And he said, well, just leave. And eventually he was getting a little tired of all my whining, I think, although he was so good-natured. And such a good man to pay attention to me. And he said, Mark, there's been a big oil spill in Santa Barbara. It was after January. And he said, you should get down there as soon as you can. Get down to Santa Barbara. And he said, because there's going to be a whole new field of law exploding, and you can be right at the forefront of it. And also, we need to make sure that the word coming out of Santa Barbara is more than just get oil out. They're being very effective, and they're scaring the bejesus out of some people in Washington back here. But the message out of Santa Barbara has to be something far more universal than get oil out. I'm a lawyer. I think in terms of rights and duties. I get down there as fast as I can. The birth of my child. And then we move to Santa Barbara and arrive sometime in June. And I meet with, I take a job at a law firm. I meet with conservationists, including Pearl Chase, who are thinking about how to and what to do and how to manage this response. And I carry the idea, which did not originate with me, of on the first anniversary having an Environmental Rights Day to proclaim that citizens everywhere have environmental rights, and that these rights are part of our civil rights. They're part of our natural rights as citizens of the planet. Okay, so we do that. We invite the people who are thinking about and organizing the first Earth Days. We invite them to come and speak. They do. And we help ignite. We provide the essential ignition for the environmental movement in the United States and beyond. It happened here in Santa Barbara. One of the people who came and spoke was the great environmentalist David Brower. And David said to me, and I've tried to live this message, or to to follow this path ever since I heard it many, many years ago. Well, 1970s when he said it. He said, we can achieve peace on earth if we stop making war against the earth. True. I mean, plainly true to me. I take this to be self-evident. And I have worked ever since in my life as an environmental lawyer and as a professor and as a father and a member of my community to work both for peace among the Earth's people and for peace with the Earth, demonstrated from the inside out by human beings everywhere. And at one time I went into full-on despair. Oh man, we had some great victories in the early 70s. We really did. Boy, then we call that the environmental decade. So much positive was accomplished. And with Reagan came the inevitable backlash against, what do you mean this is not, I can't do anything I want with my property? And our message was, wait, it's not your property in the way you think of it. Nothing belongs to us. We belong to everything. And you, sir, even though you wave, or madam, wave the deed to your property in our faces, we ask you to consider that you have duties first. Even before your rights, you have duties to your community, not just to the human ones who may be affected by the uses of what you call your property, but to the communities of life, which are on your property and to which you must attend. And even, if we may say, take to heart. I'm an advocate. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. I am. I'm mindful of what Lao Tzu said. What is it? Several thousand years ago. The way to do is to be. Since I am in love with the earth, and have been ever since I saw her from outer space, I do that love. I falter. I do falter. I get disappointed. I lose sight of the simple fact that none of us knows really what's going to happen. And that if we frame it too close to ourselves, if we can't keep the distance, the vastness of time in mind as we work, and if we get too narrowed in on who we are, thinking and believing that we live within our bodies rather than our bodies live in us, as is the case, I find, then we falter. I falter. And I once went into, I've gone into two really great depressions. And one I'm only emerging from now. Just now. And it's so good to be among you here as I recover my senses. All 52 of them. Yay, my 6 senses. And in the company of my great-granddaughter Sabrina, who's Iris's daughter, and in the company of my fellow earthling beings, we citizens of the earth, practicing gratitude. I have set my old hopes aside. Yeah, I've set them aside. It's not that, and you go, oh, when I say people say, no, I set my those old hopes aside, those old hopes. Because they were too narrow. They were too small, self-centered. And so my practice, in Buddhist thought, it is appropriate for us to consider the wisdom of setting hope aside. Because hope might just be taking us right out of the presence
Mm.
where we need to be. We might be hoping for something in the future. We might be hoping, as I was, such a fool, hoping for something in the past. Oh, if only we could get back to those days when we were winning. What a foolish thing, but there I was. So, what is healing to me? What always centers me is gratitude. I have my centering practice in gratitude. A body song sang me, sang my body, danced me. But it's a song that I danced. And David kindly played, as we were assembling here, a song that sang me. A song that goes, thank you, 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 thank you. Wow, what joy to be in gratitude, I find. So I'm grateful to be among you.
Mm.
I'm grateful, David, for our long friendship. You are one of my teachers, and I am so thankful for that. And I'm so grateful to finally meet Nixon the cook. At the time when we are working to do something about the one in the White House now. What a gangster! That's what they're going to get him on?
I think he reincarnated in something loving and appreciative of.
May it be.
Yeah.
May it be.